Good evening, all of our mentees, and welcome back to another edition of Was It Really That Bad? With your host, Amazing Amanda, and the Uncanny Omar. We are here today to talk about DCU movies. We had three you guys could choose from. Oh, sorry, hold on. Still have this on my thing. Why is it not? Okay. So we're here today. We let you guys pick out of the three lowest rated DCU films based off of Rotten Tomatoes scores. That was Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, and Justice League. And you guys overwhelmingly picked Batman v Superman. So thank you for that. Guys, I loved getting a chance to rent this and watch it all over again. I think the last time I've seen it was in theaters in 2016. So this movie, of course, everyone knows is directed by Zack Snyder, stars Ben Affleck as Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman, Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and everyone's favorite version of Lex Luthor, I'm sure, Jesse Eisenberg, everyone.
We did watch Jesse Christian. We did watch the Ultimate Edition. I was told it helped. I don't know.
I did
about
not
that.
watch the Ultimate Edition.
Okay, I watched the Ultimate
There
Edition.
was miscommunication on our parts, so I rented the regular cut. I did not realize, so it's fine. So you'll get my perspective of seeing the actual theatrical cut, and you'll see Omar's. I don't know if that'll change his rating.
I don't know if it really helped. Maybe a little bit, but I guess we'll see.
Yes.
I've only seen this movie one other time, and that was in the movie theaters, and that was not a good experience. Who was the? I know the directors and who was all in it, but who was the screenwriter? Who wrote the script?
Chris Terrio, I think, is one of the screenwriters.
David Goyer, was he one of the screenwriters?
I think so. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wonder what went wrong here.
Well, we can talk about that because as far as the writing is concerned, this is a long movie. So the original cut clocks in almost at 2.5 hours, I believe.
Jesse Christian saying Chris Terrio and David Goyer.
Yes. Yeah. Always got the answers
for help for the audience. Okay.
And Omar, how long was the ultimate cut? So I think it's about 2.5 hours almost 2.5 hours for the original. Was it about the same, maybe a little bit longer?
It's longer for the ultimate cut. Yeah, because they added scenes. And honestly, they added some really cool scenes, I thought, like towards the beginning. And I'll talk about the scenes that they added that I think helped see a little bit more of Zack Snyder's vision. And that's towards the end. You can see where his world building was going to go.
Sure.
So what's up, Larry, and everybody else in the chat? Thank you for joining us.
Yes. I don't necessarily think a longer version of this movie was necessary. I think
it depends, right? Like, it depends. If you enjoy the movie, and then you'd most definitely want a longer version. If you think the movie's a mess, and you're like, well, maybe no other version to me exists for Aliens besides the director's cut. The director's cut is the only way I watch Aliens. The extended edition is the only way that I watch Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
So I can understand why these things exist. So let's talk about
to make it good.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this movie and how it all got started. I was super pumped for this movie when it was announced. Because, for the longest time, the DCEU, I think that's what it's called, right?
Yes, DCEU, correct.
Mm-hmm. They were setting up Batman. They got Batman. The trilogy was done. Then they started setting up Superman. We were supposed to get a Man of Steel 2, but instead we got this.
Yes.
And we ended up getting this instead of Man of Steel 2. And it was so weird, but I was like, sure, Batman versus Superman, that could work. Two of the biggest characters in comic books fighting each other on the big screen. Awesome. It's happened a lot in the comics, so let's see it on the big screen. They hadn't casted Batman by then. And then we found out it was Ben Affleck. And coming off of our Daredevil review, I was not happy about the casting of Ben Affleck as Batman. So, he was not the problem with this movie.
No, he was not.
Let's
Do you want to give us a synopsis quick about what this movie was for those who have
really? I mean, it's a big fight.
It's a big fight.
It's a big fight.
Storylines, so we have to understand there's different storylines.
There's a lot of different stories that are going on here.
So our first story, because the movie starts off with Batman, or Ben Affleck. It shows his origin story in a montage, basically, of his parents getting killed, his father mentioning Martha a couple of times. Didn't realize that was going to come back to hit us later on, but there you go, foreshadowing. And him falling into the well after his parents' funeral, all that stuff. And then kind of segues into why Batman would have a problem with Superman. So Wayne Enterprises is one of the buildings that gets destroyed during Superman and Zod's epic battle. And say what you want when it comes to Man of Steel, but I had issues with how they portrayed Superman's idea of morality and everything like that, and killing and stuff like that. Anyways, but regardless, so you have a lot of people who have died because of Superman's actions with Zod, his fight with Zod, and Zod coming to Earth. So, of course, Batman kind of holds a grudge. Now we are 18 months later. Now, this is a Batman who's been around for 20 plus years. I think Alfred mentions he's been doing it for 20 years. So he's an older Batman. I don't know necessarily wiser, but he's definitely a little bit grimmer and a different version of Batman than we have seen in the past. So I appreciated that. And his whole goal is he's trying to find out how to beat Superman, and also kind of doing his own digging, I guess, about LexCorp in a way. So he's doing that. So that's one storyline. The second storyline, Superman is dealing with his morality, right? So he, a lot of people, like the government, have issues with how the fight with Zod was handled. And apparently it's not the only time when loss of life has occurred in the last 18 months, I guess, since Superman came to power or came into existence on Earth. And then he ends up saving Lois at this African warlord's, village.
Which in the director's cut is where Jimmy Olsen is introduced for 5 seconds of screen time before he gets a bullet to the head. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was really weird. I was like, oh, cool, we're introducing Jimmy Olsen in the director's Ultimate Edition. Yeah, he didn't stay very long. The additions that I thought were really cool, though, at the very beginning, where the attack on Metropolis, where Wayne is going to Wayne Court, yes. And I thought that was a really cool addition to those scenes from the theatrical cut. But,
and I had no issues with that scene in particular either, even in the original cut.
Thought it looked good.
Yeah, it looked fine. So Superman's kind of dealing with this backlash that he's experiencing from the government, from people, right. While he thinks he's trying to do the right thing. And of course, we know he's been set up by Lex. So now there's another storyline we have. This is Lex Luthor. He wants access to all the Kryptonian information because we know Lex Luthor has an obsession with Superman being a godlike character. And that's no different in here, except we have a zanier Mark Zuckerberg version of Lex Luthor.
Right. This is also his first on-screen appearance as Lex Luthor, or the character of Lex Luthor.
Yes, he was not introduced in Man of Steel.
Right, so this is the first time we see him on screen. And I remember that was the other casting that I was like, nope, this one is not for me. Him and Ben Affleck were the two people that got casted that I was
funny enough, when he got casted, I defended him.
I liked Ben Affleck. Oh, no, I'm not saying Jesse Eisenberg is a horrible actor, but when you think of a character like Lex Luthor...
You don't think of him.
No.
I thought of Michael Rosenbaum or Kevin Spacey.
Well, not even Michael Rosenbaum. I'm talking about, somebody older, somebody with a lot of... and I hate to go back to... the original Donner Superman, but that kind of Superman, not some punk kid. I don't know,
like a zanier Mark Zuckerberg. That's what he was.
I don't know. Honestly, I know what he was going for, but I don't think he pulled it. He did not pull it off. His acting isn't there. No, sorry, exactly. I don't know if y'all are Jesse Eisenberg fans, but
see, the thing is, I am a Jesse Eisenberg fan when it comes to that's why I thought, well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I loved Social Network and I love Zombieland with that quirky little, I love that stuff. So I thought,
he's a rich man's Michael Cera. Exactly. I always whenever they couldn't cast Michael Cera, they casted Jesse Eisenberg.
Side note: he is in a new movie called Resistance about a mime in World War II. He plays the mime, so I don't know how much. I don't know what.
I have never really been a fan of his, so I don't. But again. That was one of the biggest issues with this. Um, so yeah, like, go ahead and okay,
That's
keep
one of
keep.
the storyline. So basically, Lex wants access to the Kryptonian ship. He's trying to do it through the government. But the government also, there's a senator from Kentucky, home state for us, played by
Represent.
Holly, and she sees through. I think she sees through Lex's, you know, little plot, right? A little bit. So while she herself wants justice for the whole Superman stuff, she's not really ready to just send it over to this corporation. And so he's trying to have access to Zod's body, the spaceship, for a purpose, right? We don't really know what that purpose is, just for a purpose. So that's his storyline. Somehow it involves Batman and Superman, and somehow he gets the two of them together during a unbeknownst to them as their own selves. It's weird all around.
Oh,
There's
and let's
issues
not forget, we also are introduced to
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman because
What?
we don't have enough plot.
No, we don't have a plot.
So they introduced Wonder Woman.
And the idea of metahumans and other metahumans, like
right, because Bruce Wayne is studying all the metahumans. Like, he's looking for Aquaman. He's looking for, what is it called, the Project Justice or something like that, Project Dawn or whatever it is.
Flash, yes, and Cyborg, all the people we see in Justice League later on, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest problems in the movie is there's a lot of storyline, and
there's too much, and I hate to say that, like, because it's like, I'm gonna say this later, but fuck it. Yeah. The problem with this movie is that they were trying to do a catching up with Marvel.
Oh, 100%.
And Marvel had been slowly setting up these movies, right? Whereas DC kind of just rushed them out. They had no vision going forward.
Yes.
When Man of Steel came out, their vision was like, we're going to make a Wonder Woman movie. We're going to make a Superman 2 movie. But instead, they scrapped it all and did this. I mean, and then after this, look at the mess that they were doing after this. They were like, we're gonna make a Ben Affleck Batman movie. Like, there were all these things, and I just stopped listening to DCU EU because it's like, because what's the point? Like, everything gets canceled. Nothing is set until I see some kind of trailer. Like, I didn't even believe what's his name, Batman, until I saw the first. Yeah, and that could still get scrapped, but whatever, we'll see.
No, they're like legit filming that, so that's not. I think that'll come to fruition. Sure. I mean, before it got stopped by the pandemic, but I truly believe
New Mutants is done too. Remember, but anyway,
that's different. That's a different scenario. We'll talk about a different time. Gotta rein it in, Omar. We're not talking about that
today. So it's a really. I don't even understand the reasoning why Batman was going after Superman.
That's what I don't understand. So this is my problem with
my wife came home and started watching the movie with me. And she's like, "Oh my god, the dialogue's atrocious," and I was like, "Right." And it's David Goyer, who I love his comic books and I love his movies that he's done. And then she was like, "Why does he want to go after Superman?" And I literally was like, I don't know. I think he doesn't like this godlike being existing on planet Earth, so he needs to find a weakness. Which, in a way, he does in the comic books, but this is more in your face about it. Like, he's blaming... Like, in the director's cuts, it's explained a little bit, but it's still so far-fetched. Like, he blames, like, all these little... Kind of like what Avengers Age of Ultron did, right? Like, they started the initiative thing. Kind of like that. Superheroes with meta powers need to be watched.
Yes, exactly. So that's my problem with the plot. Like, honestly, a part of me thought there was the whole. So here's how I would have redone the plot, right? Not that we're.
Let's finish out what you're talking about, and then we will move on because it's a lot.
There's a lot to unpack. So I think the biggest issue with the plot with the movie is like consistency throughout the writing, as far as where they're taking it. Like, for example. Okay, so when they have the fight scene, so obviously Bruce Wayne has been studying up. He's been studying Wonder Woman, right? So he knows her secret. He knows she has no connection to Superman. Yet, when she appears suddenly to fight Doomsday, Superman goes, "Is she with you?" And he goes, "Well, I thought she was with you."
Well, come on, that's a little. Marvel does the same thing all the time. That's a little joke.
But it's not a
I
joke.
can
That's a stupid joke because he knows she's not with him. She
no,
knows
but I
she's
mean
not
that
with
I
him.
don't mind. There's a lot bigger
That
issues
I
we need to
minded.
talk about
Okay.
than that little piece of dialogue.
So what do you
Uh,
want to talk about next?
I don't even know how to where to go with this review because it's all over. The movie is kind of all over the place, and
It is.
the main thing is the fight, right? So everything is leading up to Batman fighting Superman. You've been reading about it for
Which
60,
apparently
60 years. You've been reading about it. You get excited when you see him in the bat suit, like very similar to the Dark Knight Returns in the comic
yeah.
books. You know that he has kryptonite. You know you're ready for the fight. And even watching this movie when I went to see it in the theater, I was like, okay, the rest of this movie can suck. I just want to see the fight. In this world, Batman is visited by the ghost of Flash Future, like to warn him about something because, like I said,
Oh no, what it is.
Snyder was building this huge world, right? Like he was world building. I get it. And in the future, Batman is killing. Like he's got that duster on and he's killing all these guys. He's breaking necks, and you're like, damn, that's dark. But when we get back to the present, he's shooting dudes.
Same thing, branding them,
breaking their necks, and I was like, oh, damn. I guess this Batman kills, just like this Superman kills.
Well, and that's what I didn't understand either. Like, what was his issue with Superman? Like, because he kills, Superman also kills. Then why does Superman have an issue with Batman? Is it just his form of justice? I'm not really quite sure. To me, they're equally bad in this universe. They're both pretty terrible. So, what? Like, who's the more terrible? Is that the argument they're having? And it seems like Lex Luthor makes it seem like he's been building this whole fight against them this entire time because he's the one who is like he finds out who Clark is because like they guess the Krypton chip. He ends up getting access to it because so basically Lex Luthor uses an old employee of Wayne Enterprise who loses his legs because of the events of Man of Steel, and he uses them as a bomb, unbeknownst to that guy, in a Senate hearing. So all these people blow up. Of course, Superman's there because he appeared for it, but he can't die because it's not kryptonite, and he is impervious to everything except for kryptonite. So there's all that talk: is he to blame? Blah blah blah. And through that, because those people are gone, Lex now has access to this ship. Of course, the ship is going to tell him everything to know, like who Clark Kent really is and everything like that. So he goes and has his men steal Martha, his mom.
By the way, we haven't even talked about that. I love Diane Lane. Like she's
I love Diane
phenomenal
Lane.
and a gorgeous woman, and nothing wrong with her in this movie at all. But I can't remember in the theatrical cut. Does he have a vision of Kevin Costner in the Arctic? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, they're walking up a mountain. Yeah, and they have a talk with each other.
Okay.
So he basically kidnaps his mom, and this makes Superman go to see Lex Luthor, and this at the same time Batman also happens to be ready to fight, and he turns on his bat signal. He's ready to fight Superman.
Yeah, after they run into each other because Superman stops him from killing the rest of the LexCorp people, and that's the whole ridiculous. Do you bleed?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
What?
What are you talking about, Superman or Batman? God damn it! Where are we going with this? All right, so then Superman's like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't even bother answering Batman. Batman's like, you will. That's another thing I did love. I love the voice thing, right? Because no longer do we have the Christian Bale, swear to me. Right now we have an actual voice emulated Batman, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So Lex Luthor summons Superman in the classic style. This is a very comic book thing where he tosses Lois Lane off a building. He comes and he's like, no, she's not the bait, man. It's your mom. I got your mom, and the only way you're gonna get her back is to fight Batman. Because
I'm setting all this up so you could see.
And you're talking about? Did he? Please tell me Jesse Eisenberg won a Razzie for that scene up at the top of the building where he was like just overacting. No, you don't have to. But he's just teasing him. He's acting like somebody in the chat said it earlier. It was like a bad version of Jim Carrey's Riddler. And Jim Carrey's Riddler is already a bad version of the Riddler.
Yeah.
So, what was he? What I don't even know what his motivation was for that character in this movie. The Jolly
I
Rancher thing. Did we even talk
well,
about? But anyway,
there's a lot of religious imagery, God versus man, but it could have been done a different way. Anyways, we'll get to that. So
Superman rushes over to Gotham, which apparently in this universe is literally right across the river.
right across the river. It's like
He looks over there, and I'm like, oh
like
shit!
New
All this time, I
Jersey,
always think of New York and maybe Chicago or something like
right?
that as Gotham in
But
Metropolis.
no,
But no,
it's more
right
like
across the
New
river.
York, New Jersey, and New York City or something like right there, like
And he
or
goes and
Queens and New York City,
finds
Manhattan Island.
Batman, and in a very 80s anime style, instead of talking about it, they just get to fighting.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I will say, I really enjoy the fighting. Like, I thought the choreography when Batman is kicking ass, that was badass.
Strong
Like,
point.
you know, you got this really strong 55-year-old Batman just in that big suit. Oh, he is kicking all kinds of ass, and it looks painful, too, the way that he's just taking each other, all the bad guys down. But, anyway, so yeah, they fight. Lois Lane gets caught in the middle.
As she always does.
And then, of course, this is the part that I don't understand. Like, Lex Luthor wants them to fight, to kill each other, and in the middle of it, he unleashes Doomsday because hey, we need another plot point.
Well, again,
I thought
Doomsday if the plot was Batman v Superman? Why did he think that? It found like his end game was. I don't understand. Explain his.
Well, I'll tell you what. The director's cut didn't help any because I don't see any motivation for that character. I'm not saying he single-handedly destroyed this movie.
He did not help.
But he was in the top 3 reasons why this movie was horrible. At least to me. And the director's cut did not. I'll tell you what I would have liked out of the director's cut if they had just taken Lex Luthor out of it. Make an edit where there was no Lex Luthor, and I would have been okay. This would have been a better movie.
It would have been a lot shorter too. It would have shaved off at least half an hour, if
so
not
Batman,
more.
Superman fight. Batman's got that badass armor, the Batsuit armor. Been expecting that the whole time, and it looks really good when they're fighting.
Yes.
Takes him out with kryptonite. But as he's taking him down, I don't know how many times. I remember we all laughed in the movie theater, which was wrong. You couldn't, because it was supposed to be an emotional moment when he yells out Martha, right?
Martha!
I can't.
Save Martha!
And Bruce's face was like, why did you say that?
It's not. Oh, okay.
And
I really just want to talk about how it fixes film.
well, we'll get to that here in a second. But after that, you make the connection in your head as a moviegoer. You're like, what the fuck? Is this how they're gonna make amends? Like, this is what we're doing? Why did you say that name? That's my mom. That's my mom's name. No, come on. This is Batman versus Superman. God damn it. How do you mess this up? And
then all of a sudden they're friends. And so he decides
they're not best of friends, but he's like, hey.
Well, no, but when he goes to save Martha and she's like, who are you? And he says, I'm a friend of your son's. And she's like, I figured, the cape. And I was like, oh, we're joking now. Okay.
Well, yeah, you gotta throw jokes in there. You can't let Marvel have all the fun.
Well, this is did not go for that.
They, again, the fight scenes when he goes and rescues Martha is freaking amazing. He takes down all those bad guys. The guy with the flamethrower. I don't think that was supposed to be, what's his name, Firefly or anything, but I like the way he takes them all out. It's awesome. And then he gets Martha out because, you know, she's a witch. But it's not over. It's not over.
It's not over
because now we've unleashed Doomsday. We have unleashed Doomsday. So Batman goes after Doomsday. Superman goes after Doomsday. Superman gets atomically blasted. And his body is floating up, but that's okay because the sun just re-energizes him. So while that's happening, Batman's down there getting his ass whooped in the Batmobile because he's luring him back to the city. So let's destroy some more buildings because it's visually pleasing. And he needs to get the spear with the kryptonite. He's like, oh, he's not from here. I'm Batman. I figured it out. The only way to kill him is with something from out of this world. And Alfred, who looks about the same age as Batman in this movie, what the fuck, is like, man, you're right. You're so smart, Bruce. So they go, takes him back to Gotham, and that's where Wonder Woman shows up to save the day. And I remember, I had this feeling when Wonder Woman showed up, I'm like, okay, I think the movie might have just been saved. Because this was a mess. And she, this is the first time we saw her with the full outfit. I had only seen her acting in Fast and the Furious, so this was better than that.
Definitely.
So yeah, they fight Doomsday. Superman comes back, and they fight some more. There's some really cool visuals, and Doomsday, who's a byproduct of Lex Luthor and Zod, in his Kryptonian in this movie, can only be killed by kryptonite. So Superman says goodbye to Lois, and he takes the spear and stabs him, and then not before. I don't know why he just didn't let go of the spear. Like, he just hit him with the spear, and he's just hanging there, like, making sure he's dying, and then...
That, I prefer the actual Death of Superman, where they just fight until there's, like, they just can't fight no more.
I guess. And then Superman gets stabbed through the heart and dies. And Batman failed him in life. He won't fail him in death. And they have a funeral that Batman paid for because they're buddy now. And then the Earth starts moving because we can't leave things alone. We have to remind the audience that they're too stupid to realize that Superman will be back.
Yes.
Lex Luthor. Oh, and this is pretty cool though. I did like in the director's cut how they added Steppenwolf towards the end. So the character that appears in Justice League, he was in there. And the movie ends, and Lex Luthor shaves his head.
And the Bat goes and visits him and threatens him.
I don't care.
Yeah,
I just left that out. No, it does. There's a lot of things that happen in this movie. A lot. This is a lot of movie.
A lot of movie, guys.
This is a lot of movie.
And I just watched the original cut, guys. I didn't even watch. Like, I couldn't imagine.
What the director's cut does that I know, or the ultimate cut, is put some scenes in different order and adds a little more. But it really, I don't think it really helped. I mean, maybe a little bit. I do appreciate, like I said, some of the scenes that they added. They were wonderful.
But did it make it better?
No. Not to me.
Make you wish for that Snyder cut of Justice League?
You know what it makes me wish for? I wish they had made this into 2 movies. I wish they had done Batman versus Superman and then Superman versus Batman. Yes. Something like that. Just because this was too much movie. You do the elements of Superman versus Batman, you do the things from Batman's perspective, you introduce Wonder Woman, but instead of doing it all in one movie just to rush Justice League out there, I don't know. Really weird.
I mean, they could have done it a different way where they didn't have to do any of that. I mean, in my mind, the whole Lex Luthor trying to frame Batman, everything with the Senate hearing, everything like that, for me, you could have just gotten rid of all of that.
So let's before we break it down, because there's a lot, what are the things that you did like about this movie?
Ben Affleck, Jeremy Irons, Gal Gadot.
Okay.
And Henry Cavill in the bathtub scene.
Okay, not where I was gonna go.
No, I mean, honestly, we just watched Daredevil last week, and so watching that and then coming watching this, and I was like, a more aged Ben Affleck is a better Ben Affleck for everyone. And I think I liked his portrayal of Batman. It's a shame we'll never get to see his movie. I understand why he chose not to do it. But he had a lot of stuff coming up after that. Got separated from his wife, etc., alcoholism, all that stuff. So I understand why. But he was one of the better parts of this movie. Like, in my mind, I could have gone with just a movie of him and Gal Gadot, him finding Gal Gadot, like both of them showing up at this LexCorp thing and following a street. Like that's one storyline that we could just followed and left Superman out of it. And just them two teaming up because I thought they had really good chemistry together as just actors on screen together. So Gal Gadot, another standout, not, was no hesitation as to why Wonder Woman did so well in theaters. And yeah, the bathroom scene in the tub, because it reminded me of how attractive Henry Cavill could be.
Could be. He's a very good looking dude, like all the time.
I know, but
shirt on, shirt off, doesn't matter.
David is not it, but like Geralt of Rivia.
Oh, you like him a little rugged.
Oh, I like him rugged. So when he has more like dorky when he has the glasses and the curly hair, I like hair.
Which would have been a better thing to do was keep the beard on.
Yeah, exactly.
For his return. All right. So for me, I'm with you. There were 5 actors I did not want to play Batman. Ben Affleck was one of them, but he proved me wrong. He was really damn good at it. Gal Gadot was awesome as Wonder Woman. Again, another actress that I was like, I don't know about this, but she killed it. What's up, Peter? All the way from Australia, man. Nice. Sorry, I have to highlight this. I actually like BVS, but it was a guilty of shoehorning too much in it. I wish they had brought back Kevin Spacey. Absolutely. Well, and then rumor was that what's his name? Brian
Cranston from Breaking Bad.
He was supposed to be Luther.
Would have been a bad Luther.
Would have been a lot better.
Would have been a lot better.
Cable, I like Henry Cavill's Superman. I always have. I thought he wasn't the issue. Diana Lane,
not an issue.
Aged like a fine wine. Jeremy, I did not like the casting of Jeremy Irons. I thought that was a bad casting because absolutely.
And why
him and Ben Affleck look the same age. They look the same age. Like they do. Like if this is if you're making me believe that this is a Batman that's 55 years old, then you needed somebody. Well, you needed somebody older, right?
You're a good point.
This is the guy that helped race you. So what the hell? Why do we both look the same? Let me see what else I like. Like I said, I like the fighting. The CG was pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean,
the special effects were good.
I wasn't really a fan of Doomsday's characterization. I don't know. The design to me was uninspired, but that's fine. It's okay.
No, I don't like the design of
the fight scenes
Doomsday, but the fight scene were solid, especially when Wonder Woman throws her lasso out there.
Yeah.
Like that was really good. Batman with the gun. I love the design of Batman's like Dark Knight, Frank Miller style look to him.
To highlight that comment from Matthew right now.
Isn't it Omar like you're fucking dead to me, Matthew?
Sorry, I love
that. What else did I like about this movie? I'm trying to think. That might have been it. I mean, really, this movie would have been really good had they taken out some elements. Had they had a better editor, I think it would have been better. Now, my problems with this movie: number 1, Jesse Eisenberg. Horrible casting.
It was not a good fit.
Whatever the hell he was trying to channel didn't work. I don't know what he was going for. Didn't work for me.
Jolly Ranchers that Everett keeps mentioning in the chat.
Oh, what's her name was in it though? Really cute voice. She was a senator.
Holly Hunt.
Yes.
Yeah, I liked her in it as the senator, especially when she realized what was happening. She's a great actress, but just seeing her when she realized what was going to happen to her with the Granny's peach tea thing.
That was a really weird shot. The script was not good. The script, the dialogue was bad.
There was no consistency. It was all over the place. They needed some major editing for this film, 100%. Now, I don't necessarily agree with Zack Snyder's take on Superman, and I think that's what, for me, hindered...
On that Lois Lane, Amy Adams. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what Omar was really saying about seeing Henry Cavill in that bathtub, buddy. Me too.
How many times are going to break that bathtub up? All right.
I just realized how sexy that scene was, and I was like, damn, I did not realize it. So,
Holly Hunter, Best Actress in a Supporting
I'm
Explosion.
gonna agree with that. Her realization was on point.
Oh, I get the why it was done. It was just
Oh yeah, it was just,
it was just overdone, and I wasn't.
again.
I'm used to Zack Snyder being the guy with a lot of slow motion scenes in
Okay,
300.
sure, but that's not my issue with the. I just think the whole issue of the government again, this is the whole idea of them moving too fast, too soon. And yes, is a
Thank you so much for the super chat. Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yes.
Too much pressure.
Yes, too much pressure.
I've never heard that.
If they took a step back and realized that DC fans would have enjoyed if they took their time just as much. They don't need to catch up to Marvel. We would have eliminated a lot of these problems.
Well, I think that they did learn their lesson eventually.
Like but see, they've learned the lesson to the point where they're not even doing a shared universe as much as the MCU.
I'm okay, and I'm okay with that. I think it works for them.
You don't need they should do.
The script, the editing was just bad. In both the director's cut helped a little bit. It still was all over the place. There was way too much plot. But I think the biggest flaw, to me at least, was Jesse Eisenberg. Like, he was horrible, and it kind of ruined a really good character.
Because I still think, like, the motivation for Batman, the motivation for Superman, there could have been so many better ways to tell this story.
Oh, well, that's part of the plot. Yeah, the plot was bad.
I think it was the plot itself. That's what was my biggest hang-up. Jesse Eisenberg sucked, but even if they had a decent plot and he was just a bad villain, this movie probably would have gotten a higher score for me. But the plot just was so all over the place and not condensed enough, and I don't like the motivations. I was not convinced when you have two characters who just seem to equally almost destroy at will, and they try to show Superman as a good character with his white savior moment where he goes to Mexico to save that woman from the burning building and all that stuff. You try to see him do the good stuff, but
he's white.
But apparently
I've never heard white savior. I don't know what that is.
When they do the same argument in Civil War, which is why Civil War did it better, is because we had 3 or 4 or 5 movies where there was mass destruction of cities.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, I get it. But when you just saw one city in Zod, but then 18 months later, is he still destroying cities? Like, is that why we still hate him?
This is a really good question. How much power did Snyder have at this point? It seemed like he had free. It does. Well, with the exception of not having his cut release in theatrical, in theaters.
Yeah. Sean just looks at me, but we got this sweet.
No, we did not. What the hell was? Why didn't they just put a beard on my boy? Golly.
Weird. It's fine.
Oh, and there were so many plot holes. In the director's cut, we're introduced to Jimmy Olsen. We're introduced to Jenna Malone, who worked at LexCorp, and they never do anything with it. No. You assume that Jenna Malone, actually, wasn't she in Birds of Prey? Not the same character.
No, you're not talking about her. Nope.
Nope.
You're thinking of Mary Winstead.
Oh my God! All these.
Like her, who's like Huntress, but they are not the same person.
Those two women look alike.
No, she's more of like the Secret Lives of Alter Boys. That's Jenna Malone.
Oh, of course, I've seen that movie.
Have you not?
No.
It's great.
The Secret Lives of Alter Boys? I was an altar boy. I lived it.
It has the other Culkin brother, not Rory, not Macaulay.
There's 3?
Yes, the one who's also in Succession. Someone help me out here, guys. Someone in the chat.
Nope. Nobody help her, please. Kieran? Nobody should know the other Culkin brother.
Kieran Culkin?
Sure, that's him. Superman Returns better than Batman versus Superman. I agree. I'm a guy that likes Superman Returns. I didn't have a big issue with it. Omar, I think you meant Jenna from 30 Rock. That's it. 30 Rock. Do you guys live near Frankfurt? We do live near Frankfurt. Wow, what a random question. Wait a minute. Where are you, Jordan? I tried watching Super Punch for the first time last night. I like that movie for different reasons, though.
Yeah, he likes it for very different reasons.
Schoolgirl outfits. Swords, machine guns. Come on, that's awesome. Batman versus Superman better than Man of Steel. I love all these, huh?
It's interesting.
I don't know. That one's tough.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Man of Steel either, but
at least Man of Steel.
I just didn't like. At least it was a tighter plot, tighter script.
Yeah, sure. The plot wasn't the greatest, but at least it wasn't like they were trying to do too much with it. I like the action sequence. I had a Superman movie that was a good blend of Superman Returns and Man of Steel. Like both amazing action
Yeah.
with that good like Donner back to the Superman story of just pure good.
We talk about what I wish this movie would have been.
Wait, well let's rate
Okay, fine.
this movie first.
My suggestions. I'm beginning to think that Omar doesn't want to hear my suggestions.
No, I think we should rate it first because I was trying to think of what else you did not like about it. But you said the plot was the biggest sin. For me, Jesse, whatever. What would you give this movie out of 10? Anybody in the chat that's watched this out of 10?
Give us I would give it a 3 out of 10.
3 out of 10.
Bone to Ben Affleck.
I think 3.5 is pretty fair for me. 3.5.
Whew. Polly Lopez said Civil War's worse than this movie.
Hey, some people don't like Civil War.
I know, but I thought
I think wait, I think the fighting in this at times looked better than Civil War because I hate that airport scene in Civil War. The way that the fight looked very CG and green screen. But that's just me. 7.5. All right. 3.8. I love it. 3.8.
Says whatever I say he agrees with, which is 3. So Michael.
What? Do not do that. 9 out of 10. My man, Awesome Gamer, loved it. That's what I want to hear. Didn't bother see. Damn, Matthew, you stood your ground. You think like whenever all your friends are like, hey Matt, we're gonna go see it. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna stay home and.
Can I tell everyone my story of seeing this with you?
4.5. Sure, I don't know what you're gonna tell. 6 out of 10.
So I think we just got back from moving back from Arkansas because it came out in 2016, right?
I think so.
All cousins, we all went to see this in theaters, and we had to get seats in the very, very back row, like the top of the theater, to see this film. And Omar had some tummy problems during the film.
Oh, because I got a stomach. What's it called? I got sick when we ate at the.
Something.
It was at that British place that we ate at before the movie.
Yes. And so he sat horrible. Next to me, and the other side was my husband, and we weren't like on the end. We were kind of in the middle of this last row. And at some point in the film, I think my husband put the popcorn on the floor.
Dumbass.
In the beginning of the film, Omar had to go to the bathroom for the first time, and he walks across and spills it accidentally. So Omar goes to the bathroom, no less than I think 5 or 6 times during the movie, and every time
it was horrible.
Crunchy.
I was making a big loud noise for everybody to turn around.
That was the most entertaining thing for this movie.
Oh yeah, that was the best time ever.
Yes. Oh, that's all I remember for this movie, guys. If you take nothing away from it.
So I couldn't even rate the movie back then because I didn't see it.
You did, yes, exactly.
I had to actually. I remember buying it on Black Friday. I'm like, well, I guess I finally get to see what I missed. So
you could have said this was your first viewing. Oh God!
Are you crying?
A little bit. Remember how much we laughed during it?
Yeah.
And Omar was the best part of this movie. Apparently.
No. Not out of that end. And I'm not saying all British pubs give you a stomach issues. Okay, it's just guys. This particular one. Hey, that one went out of business anyway. I wonder why.
What? Oh, the pub it did actually, without like any notice, the restaurant went out of business one day. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I do need mouth to mouth, Michael. That was a lot of laughing.
Don't. See, Batman versus Superman, 6 out of 10. Justice League, 2 out of... Charlie, you didn't like Justice League. See, I didn't have a problem with Justice League. I thought Justice League was okay. Other than, of course, the thing that everybody else had an issue with was the Henry Cavill CG mouth.
That was terrible.
Why they didn't give my boy a beard, I don't know, because he would have looked good in a beard, especially after laying there dead.
Either that, I mean, all that for a movie that did okay in theaters. That Mission Impossible did.
Oh, Mission Impossible, right? That was part of the contract. He couldn't shave.
And it was not good of a movie. I mean, it didn't get that. It didn't go that well over in theater, but
no mullet. No, they didn't give him a mullet. They should have given him a mullet, a beard.
Oh, that was
Which
funny.
Mission Impossible was that? Was that the last one? Rogue?
The Rogue Nation or whatever.
Rogue Nation, that was
whatever
it.
the last just did.
So it is a 3.5 from the Uncanny Omar and a 3 from the Amazing Amanda.
I think it was 3.5. Was the half point for the?
Oh, I like aspects of it. I like the fighting. I gotta give props to. It wasn't a. Now, to answer the question, was it really that bad? Yes, it was.
It deserved the. Now, was it shot better than other movies we've seen? Sure.
I think there are aspects of it that still look solid. Like I said, the choreography was good, and I like how dark it was at times, or most of the time. 3.8 is the correct answer. Yes, really bad. A disgrace. All right. Fuck this damn movies. When's Catwoman gonna be watched?
You know, Shonda said, I've been asking the same question myself because I've never seen it. We put it on the poll almost every week, except for the weeks we choose like a specific universe, which we did MCU 2 weeks ago. Now we did the DCU this week. So next week it'll probably be back in the chat or on the poll. So feel free to vote for it again.
Sure.
Yeah.
What Amanda said, I will be putting it back up. Catwoman and Superman 4, and I can't remember what else. Maybe Green.
For anything we get to talk about.
Green Hornet, which I remember not liking that movie.
Up there. The only reason I suggested Green Hornet is because it's lowest rate. It's one of the lower rated ones, and it's also free on Netflix.
All right.
So we talk about things I would have chosen to change.
Yes. Okay. Now this is part of the show where we remind you all to please don't forget to hit that like button. And Amanda's going to tell you how she would have fixed this.
Okay. So.
Does this set up Suicide Squad? Because Affleck only played Batman in Justice League Suicide Squad.
Yeah, yes.
And I guess he was in Batman or Bruce Wayne was in Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Have we done Elektra yet? No, not yet. I love that you add yet in there. Because that's coming. I'm colorblind. Michael, you're all over the place today, just like this movie.
You've been doing vodka shots because you keep screwing up everyone's names.
I haven't screwed up anybody. I pronounce them better than you. And it's Henry Cavill, not Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
You're messing it up.
That's why he's taking shots. Is it Henry Cavill? Oh,
this film sets up Catwoman. All right, Amanda, how would you have fixed this movie?
Okay. I would have gotten rid of the government stuff entirely. I would have made Lex Luthor, the entire plot is his obsession with Superman. Mm-hmm. I would have had Superman and Batman come into conflict earlier on as superheroes, and where they would have been interacting more and have more discussion about their morality, because I think that's what is the big difference between the two characters, right? That's always been the big difference, because I don't think it's justified that the government would have such an issue with Superman so early yet about his destruction and everything after 18 months. It's only been one event. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. So I think we would focus on Lex Luthor wanting to create Doomsday, wanting to be better than Superman, wanting to be a god himself. And this is how he did it. And therefore and of course it wouldn't be necessarily a fight between Batman versus Superman, but it would be their conflict. Maybe they have a mini fight in the
you gotta have a fight.
Okay, they can have a fight.
The movie's called Batman versus Superman.
And maybe it shouldn't have been this way. Okay? I'm just saying. But it would have set up a mid-conflict scene where two of them have a major disagreement.
I'm just saying as a counterpoint, if you're luring me into the movie with the title Batman vs. Superman and you don't have them fighting, but they're arguing, I'm going to be mad.
Then maybe it should have been Man of Steel.
What in the hell did you just say?
It should have been Man of Steel 2 with a cameo of Batman, because let's face it, when you've had the two people, there's too much story. That's where the reason why Captain America Civil War was Captain America Civil War, not Cap versus Iron Man. because it still was focused on Cap's story with Bucky. That was the main plot, and we all knew that. Okay, anyways, that's not saying here nor there. So you have him,
Yeah.
you have Superman doing his stuff, right? Saving the people and burning buildings, all that stuff. You have Batman over here, 20 years, aged, kind of rugged. We don't need the whole storyline of how he hates Superman, but you have a disagreement between the two of them. Superman doesn't like the way Batman does things. Batman doesn't like Superman because he thinks he's a god. So they kind of have a conflict mid-scene. But you know what brings them together? Lex Luthor, because he is out to conquest and become a god himself. And by doing so, he does gain access to somehow to creating Doomsday. And that is how they team up. Not because of Martha, because they have a bigger threat, which is Lex Luthor, even though they have different moral quandaries. And of course, they can throw Wonder Woman in there because there's that side plot of doing Lex Luthor could be going through all his, trying to retrieve kryptonite materials, and in doing so there's a bunch of people doing some investigations, and all of it ties up in together at this major scene. They all come together. We don't need to have the Justice League scene where he goes and searches for the metahumans and stuff in the between. That's end credits. That's end credit stuff. Does not need to be put in this movie at all. That's end credits where you kind of see him bring up that, and he shows it to Wonder Woman, and she sees it, and she realizes that he knows who Diane Prince is, everything like that. Could be done in the end credits scene, in my opinion. Because I think the end credits for this was what? I don't remember. I didn't even watch the end credits.
I don't know. I was trying to catch up with what you said the first time. So I have to rewind the video. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what talking to Amanda is like. You ask her a question, and she just goes,
okay.
She's ready to talk. But
sorry.
There was, at least in the director's cut, there wasn't really a post-credit. Like I said, everything in the director's cut was pretty much setting up the events of what was happening in Justice League.
Okay, well, no. What I'm saying is it should be... What should bring them together is
there's no end credit scene.
Okay, thank you. But that's what that whole scene where he sends that.
Congratulations on finishing your finals, Corey. Thank you for joining us.
Corey, congratulations.
Amanda, keep drinking, please.
I'm trying. What I'm saying,
it ain't a party until Amanda pukes on me. All right, go ahead, Amanda. You're gonna tell embarrassing stories. You're gonna tell embarrassing stories.
I have puked on him before. That was at a restaurant. It was funny.
Twice.
What was the second time?
Twice. At the Vineyard. Oh, we don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah, the Vineyard. I did puke on him.
Go ahead.
Okay, so in my mind, what should bring them together is fighting.
Now that's devotion right there. I'm watching this instead of writing my PhD. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And he's all the way from Australia, so credit to him.
Wow. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, so what I mean, if their motivation should be stopping Lex Luthor and creating the Abomination. Lex Luthor there should be no weird subplot where he's trying to really sabotage Superman. Not at this stage yet. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're at that.
Eric, we are both.
Yes.
Eric, you look like a Tom Holland. Eric, just saying that.
Are you a Tom Holland, Eric?
He looks like Tom Holland in that picture. Just saying.
Yeah, if he was doing Cherry and he was filming that as a...
What the... What?
As a soldier, the movie Cherry that he did with the Russo brothers that just got finished filming.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. How would you fix Batman versus Superman?
Sorry, it.
Oh,
their motivation has to be stopping Lex Luthor, not Martha.
Mm-hmm.
So they have these. Their central core conflict is their moral quandaries. Okay, quandaries. I'm sorry, I'm a little drunk, guys.
That's what my friends say. See? Huh? Yeah. I could tell.
You're a lucky man, then.
Okay.
Anyways, their central conflict should be their moral quandaries, okay? And it shouldn't be
all about... goes bad. Yes, it is. It is.
Yes.
It is.
And it shouldn't be about whatever the events. It shouldn't be about this whole... There should be not this whole government... That too much... It lays down... It loads the plot with unnecessary stuff that we don't need. So it should be the two of them having these moral conflicts, okay? Yes, they can come to a head and have a major fight scene because of this in the mid part of the film, right? It's not the actual climax, but their major turning point is Lex Luthor. This is what brings them together, and then after realizing that for Batman and Wonder Woman, after they realize that Batman or Superman's the only one who could defeat enemies like this, then they decide towards the end of the film, let's do some research on other people. Maybe we need to form a team. And then they have an end credits scene that exactly is him showing all of those scenes of Flash and Aquaman and Cyborg in the secret super drive or whatever.
The secret super drive.
Flash
secret
drive.
Super drive. Got it.
But that's how I think it should be fixed. I just don't. And that the problem is with that is that we have a Superman who does kill, who creates destruction, and so that is Superman we've got, and that's the issue with that. If we had the moral, yeah. Anyways,
the most important question though, when you're fixing this movie, Amanda, do you keep Martha?
Martha? No, I don't keep Martha. That to me that just makes no sense. That should never have been brought up.
You would keep Jesse Eisenberg, not Martha.
Yes, because if the plot was tighter, we could have gotten off. It would have been at least a 6 out of 10 for me. It wouldn't have been great, but it would have been a 6 out of 10. Y'all hate me if you want.
Nobody hates you. This is what happens when you drink wine. Everybody turns on you. It's okay. Superman, the quest for peace over everything.
I want to know how else would change it. I'm curious to see what other people.
I told you what I would do. I would digitally remove Jesse Eisenberg. I would get rid of that. That was a big problem that I had with it.
And you're okay with everything else? So
no,
you've gotten rid of LexCorp entirely. So if you change,
if I get rid of Lex, I get rid of Doomsday. I get rid of the idea that with getting rid of one character, you get rid of a lot of these issues that I had. The main drive for this movie is literally the title, Batman versus Superman. In the comic books, you lure readers when they're kids, when they're younger, or even teenagers or adults. They're like, oh my God, why are these two characters fighting? I mean, the whole premise of Civil War for moviegoers who are like, why are these characters fighting? Same thing in Batman versus Superman. They want to see this fight. Why are these two characters fighting? And that's it. They don't give a crap about Doomsday or Lex Luthor.
Yes.
Luthor, sorry, I'm saying it like the Donner movies. But
yes. However, if
they should digitally remove Zack Snyder.
If Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder are trying to set the Justice League, it doesn't make sense to just leave it as a fight between the two of them. You need a catalyst for Batman to realize they need a team of metahumans. That he can't do it alone. When there's a greater threat involved, he needs a metahuman. So that's why you can't necessarily get rid of him. Maybe it could have been a different threat, but you need a way to unite them. How would you unite if Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, if Lex Luthor, LexCorp was not involved? How would you unite them? Would it still be Martha? How would you unite them? How would you get them to reconcile their differences in this movie? How would this movie end for you? Besides the
Batman realizes Superman's a good guy.
How would he realize that, though? What would make him realize that?
You borrow 100 different comic ideas and you put it into the movie.
Suggestion, because I haven't read every Batman and Superman comic book.
I mean, it's the same thing. There's a resolution, or you don't end it and you to continue it into whatever the next movie would have been, Man of Steel 2. The plot for this was just all over the place. And I think just having the main fight was the whole reason why people went to go see it. It doesn't matter why they're fighting. You know they're going to make up in the end. Right?
I think it was just a gimmick.
As a moviegoer, you know they're going to make up in the end. I don't think as a moviegoer you expected Superman to die at the end of this movie. But it happened.
Now they're trying to jam a lot in.
Oh, yeah. Get rid of a lot of that.
Have to even die at the end of this movie to be brought back to life in a very strange way.
Well, it was really stupid for them to even hint that he was coming back within this movie.
Right.
Like, what was the point of even killing him?
Have they not watched Game of Thrones? Oh wait, Jon Snow didn't die yet in this one. Who's still alive?
I can't remember. Don't forget about the parademons. Right. We had all this subplot that they were setting up. I don't know. I don't know how anybody that wasn't watching, wasn't reading comic books or wasn't like, how would you even keep up with this movie? Thank you so much for the super chat. Andrew, WB needed to take a page from the DCAU for future films. The animated universe is so much better. How do they mess these things up?
Young Justice, buddy.
Well, their animated movies are solid.
Oh yeah, I've watched a lot of them on DC.
Well,
Yeah,
There's a couple that I have an issue with, mainly the Killing Joke, but that's just me. I
yeah. The Killing Joke is not
did
one I'm a fan of.
not like what they did with the changes in that movie or
I mean,
that
I got
story.
what, May 27th, and I'll have all of those on HBO Max. I'm good. I'll wait.
I can't believe they're pulling that so fast. May 27th, huh?
It was supposed to be May originally. It was always May. I just didn't know what date it was yet.
The film was released when New 52 was launched. What was the release date of this movie, Amanda?
It was released in 2016. I would say somewhere February, March timeframe.
No, New 52 was released before then. New 52, I think, was. Oh, gosh. When was New 52? 2012? 2011? 2012? Yeah, so New 52 was before this.
Yeah.
My man, yeah. Shonda Suk, 2011 was the New 52. So
Yeah.
it was quite a bit of.
Quite a
So
bit after.
this did borrow, or I guess Justice League borrowed elements from the New 52 Justice League by Jeff Johns and Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Even though they left out the Snyder cut.
I guess I'm not as much of a fan of Zack Snyder, and
You didn't like 300.
No, I like 300.
Half naked dudes running around with swords.
Well, it's not the half naked dude. I liked the whole idea behind it. I liked the mythology behind it. That's what really drove me. So that's why I liked 300. And that was a film that was made for Gerard Butler, not the fan of the opera, but that was definitely made for him. So
see, I like that, and I liked Sucker Punch was all right.
Well, I didn't like Sucker Punch that much. I tried to like it. I really did.
And honestly, what he did with Watchmen, was.
Atomic Hound brought a good point. Ant-Man kicked Batman vs. Superman's ass. You know why it's possible, Atomic Hound? Because Marvel spent some cred and worked their way up. So people are like, it's a Marvel film. It's got to be halfway decent, which Ant-Man, the original, is not that bad. Omar hates Ant-Man and the Wasp. Or dislikes it.
I do. It's in my bottom 5 movies from Marvel. And Amanda's right. Also, Marvel has true followers, just like they do in the comic books, where they're like, they don't do it. Like, they have this firm belief that Marvel cannot release a bad movie. Like, yeah, I'm not talking about Amanda, but there are people that are like, the MCU has not released a bad movie. And that's what happens. And when you have a following like that. What's that?
I said even the worst movies. Oh, wait, which reminds me, I made a comment about Thor: The Dark World. This is the issue with Thor. Oh,
what?
Okay, so another problem I have with this film.
Oh, we're going to go back to that. Okay.
The focus on his relationship with Lois Lane, which I think was a low point for Dark World. The whole, his terrible chemistry and relationship with Natalie Portman. And that kind of hindered Dark World for me. And the same here, especially when he has to go save her like every fucking time. So again, I was like, I knew I put Dark World in here. Why did I put it in my notes? That's why. Because again, it was like, yeah.
This is what talking to her is like, though. So I'm used to this.
I hope y'all follow my logic on this.
I follow her logic all the time.
I'm not gonna fix Dark World.
Is Wolverine Omnibus out of print? It is unavailable for in book depository after a few hours. It is not out of print. It is currently just out of stock. It will be back. Diamond is getting orders ready for May 20th. I don't know if they have any Marvel books scheduled yet. So they have a back catalog of things that they need to start shipping out. So no, it is not out of print. Rest assured. I promise you'll get it, man.
Yes. Also, Jesse Christian said Henry and Amy don't really have chemistry. That's why I thought they were okay, but they didn't have the steamy connection that I thought deserved so much of the Lois and Superman love in this movie. The focus on their relationship should not have been there, and that was the issue with Dark World for me. Which is Freddie said, also appreciate you, Freddie. He said it made sense. It's easy to follow. You just got to let her finish her thought. Thank you, Freddie. I appreciate that.
What the hell? Are you pointing out a compliment to you? Of course.
You're right, Larry. If we didn't get that relationship, we never would have seen Thor hang his hammer on the hat rack. And that is something that we did not need to see.
Amanda, without that misbegotten relation, we never would have seen Thor hang the hammer on the. I love that Larry finds the beauty in everything in life. That's wonderful. That's a wonderful thing to do. I Thor 2 was horrible.
Sean, I would have amazing chemistry with Henry Cavill. He loves Lord of the Rings.
Oh boy, here we go.
Huge nerd.
Yeah, he is.
And so I think that me and Henry Cavill would get along very nicely. Oh, Drew wants to know who I think is hotter, Thor or Aquaman? Thor. Chris Hemsworth by far. So my husband and I watched Good Time or Bad Times at the El Royale, and there's a scene he walks in after Dakota Johnson, all of them are tied up, and he's like shirtless and he's doing this whole dance thing, and I like my breath stopped, and my husband's like, "Hey!" And my husband's a good-looking dude. I mean, he's in the military, works out like 5 freaking times a day for like 5 hours. I mean, he's in good shape, but like he walks in, he's like,
that's the Chris Hemsworth workout, Amanda. Chris Hemsworth works out for 5 hours a day.
I know, more than that. He surfs and does a whole 9 yards, and he's
when does he have time to read these scripts? He's always working out.
He created a whole app.
What the hell? What was the question?
Who's hotter?
I love learning. I love learning so much about Chris Hemsworth through Amanda and how often he works out.
Anyways, that's my pick.
You're still gonna think Chris Hemsworth is hot after playing Hulk Hogan?
Oh, I can't wait to see
that's an interesting choice for him.
No, it's gonna be awesome. Has anyone watched Extraction yet? The Joe Russo written and film produced by Hargraves. Okay.
Nope.
What's cool is Extraction is actually directed by Steve Hargraves, I think his name is, and he is he's a stunt person, and he actually did stunt work for Chris Evans. So it's very interesting. It's a great movie. I like the actor who plays the young boy in it. He's like, obviously I'm going to mispronounce his name, so I'm not going to say it. But I follow him on Instagram now. He's a yes.
What?
He's an Indian actor.
What was the question?
I don't know. It just kind of went off about Hulk Hogan, and then it got to Extraction.
Oh, and then you're like, Extraction.
Yeah.
Extraction's good. Action, terrible plot. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
I want to say, ex-Lord Locust, thank you for staying up with us at 3 o'clock in the morning. I hope that my energy is keeping you awake.
It's really, I can do it. I'm usually really good at this.
Are we
especially
done?
when I'm drinking.
With Batman vs Superman? I mean, I could talk some more about it.
I take it we're done with Batman vs Superman. She's got 4 pages of notes, guys, if you all want to see.
Hour mark. So now this is the point of the movie or the time where we get past the hour mark and we just start going off the rails. Because it's quarantine time, Omar and I don't get to see each other except we text a lot. And
yeah, we haven't hung out in a while. I haven't seen people. I miss people.
We're going to do a Dungeons and Dragons this weekend via Zoom. So I got to create my D character. She is awesome.
She can tell you about that for like 30 minutes. The most important question, Omar, who's hotter, Wonder Woman or Black Widow? In the comic books, Wonder Woman. In the movies, Wonder Woman.
Oh, I love Scarlett Johansson.
Don't get me wrong, she's gorgeous, but I don't know.
Sean just said you're a bearded beauty.
Stop, you're making me blush.
See his redness? He's redder than I am, and I've been drinking like wine. I mean,
me?
You see the model, guys?
My ass stays mocha colored all the time. Yep. How about you guys? Who do you all prefer? What about you, Amanda? You think you're more of Scarlet Joe, huh?
Yeah, I think it's because
of that black suit. Scarlet is the greatest of all time. Damn. Okay.
I actually have an outfit my husband bought me for Christmas. It's a shooting outfit to go shoot guns in, but it legit is like this tight black fitting. It looks like a Black Widow outfit, and I want Maddie, because Maddie filmed me doing a boudoir shoot for Valentine's Day.
This chat is all over the place.
I want her to film me. I want her to shoot me in this because it's a beautiful suit.
Wait. What the hell is a gun outfit?
Oh, you want me to show it to you? Hold on, guys. I'll be right back. Don't leave the chat.
Okay. I didn't even know that's a thing. What the hell? Did you all know that there's gun outfits? I really didn't know. And I shoot guns. I didn't know that there was a gun outfit. Do they make some for dudes? I'm a dude, and I think Hemsworth is the hottest of the three. Oh, Peggy Carter. Yeah, she's super hot.
Yeah, she's super hot.
Yeah, yes.
All right, you want to see what it is? Okay. So,
Sure.
yeah, so this is the top, and what's nice is it zips all the way down. I guess if I want to be like super sexy and like show a lot of cleavage. And then this is from a store called Fiveland Tactical.
Okay, what is the point of this?
I don't know. I just
Like,
thought
why do they make it? Like to shoot easier?
Yeah, I think so. And these are the pants. So as you can see, there's a nice leather.
Interesting. I'd love to know why they make these things because
this is from 511 Tactical Store, and it is very much a Black Widow outfit. Like
that looks like a superhero spandex.
Oh fuck yeah, yeah. Lots of pockets to throw stuff in. Nice belt to get a holster. So
how often do you shoot guns that you need a gun outfit? Like I have never seen you shoot a gun.
Your brothers have.
Okay, one time in 5 years you shot a gun, and that required you to get a gun outfit. Interesting. Okay.
No, I didn't get it. My husband decided to get it as a Christmas gift.
Did you say, "Hey, I don't shoot guns"?
I said, "Hey, I think you want this for different reasons, not to shoot guns."
There it is. Okay.
Next time I go shooting, I'm gonna totally wear it.
It's a yoga pants onesie.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This went really off the chain. I'm sure we lost a lot of people.
No, we're maintaining the views for some reason. There's nothing going on a Wednesday night. There's no new comics.
Who's that? What is Classy Ulysses? Which, hey, how are you? One of the regulars I used to see back in the day.
No, why did you make me highlight that?
Because he's talking about Harry Potter.
Yes.
And I'm sure he saw my shrine behind me to the universe. My little owl, which I got when we went to Florida to Universal Studios, and the hotel we stayed at, we got a Wizarding World little welcome gift because we did one of those preview dates for Diagon Alley, the second one that came out, and so we went the second part of the whole world because the first one was Hogsmeade and Hogwarts, and so they came with that with a little cute invitation, welcome, and then my sorting hat, and then all of our designer wands that we got at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. They all know. Oh, now Peter wants me to model the outfit. Oh, Peter, I got my suspicious Antwerp, hoodie on that I only bought because Tom Holland had put an advertisement on his Instagram about it. So.
Yeah,
that was not lie, Michael Edmonds.
I don't even know. This is a good question. What's the Patreon level to see Amanda model the shooting? Is she gonna have a gun? Is she gonna have a gun? That's the question. What's your gun preference? What are you gonna have? What are you gonna shoot?
Oh, what do I have? A 43. Glock 43 is what I have right now.
Oh, you have a Glock. That's cool.
And I think my husband, when he went to deploy, he only took his
Eric said, "Thanks for buying my merch." Tom Holland.
Nice, Eric.
You'll get the Patreon. Yeah, I know. Ain't nobody worried about reading orders now. It's all about, hey, when we go see that picture of Amanda with a gun.
I will put the outfit on. I will send a picture to Omar, and he may do it at his disposal.
I ain't gonna send a picture to people. That's ridiculous. You're gonna regret saying that when you're sobering up.
Yes, Omar Rodriguez. The Holland thing is not a gimmick. This is legit. Something that he advertised on his. I could share it. Well, not this particular hoodie, but just the brand. I could advertise. I'm not gonna do that.
Amanda and Omar, which house you are in? She is at her house. I am at my house.
Well, when I did it on the Pottermore
there's a Patreon level that gives you her address. I mean, might as well.
When I did the Pottermore, I was a Hufflepuff, 100%. It makes sense too.
Was somebody asking, or are you just saying that?
That's what he was asking. Which house are you in? He was asking about Harry Potter.
Oh, oh,
God, Omar.
dude, I can't keep up. I can't keep up with the chat. It's
No,
been a
Jesse,
crazy
my
day.
husband is not from Canada. Here, I'll get him on the phone. He's with
No,
his
no, no,
friend,
no, no, don't do that. Don't do
his friend
that.
Escobar right now. He's deployed. He's in the Army National Guard, and he's at the border. I don't think
You
he'll
should
answer this.
you should switch houses for the next stream. All right.
Oh, so I should be in front of Omar's house?
Omar, do you have a sexy gun shooting outfit? I do have a sexy gun shooting outfit, guys. Mine zips all the way from the top to the trousers, though. It's what you call a one. What the hell is that called? A onesie?
I also have a onesie that's a unicorn onesie.
Yeah, that's not as sexy as a shooting outfit, though.
No, you're right.
Amanda's a 1.25 speed. It's the way she normally talks.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
What's up, Carl? Don't apologize. Oh, dude, are you Bob the Goon? Is that Bob the Goon? That's awesome.
Does what have a butt flap? Oh, Omar's probably. Mine's too tight to have a butt flap. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. So,
yes.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like button, and what else, Amanda? You're good at this.
Oh, you want me to sign us off?
Sure.
All right, guys. So it looks like that Omar's ready to wrap it in for the night, and I've got to get back to a Spider-Man fanfic and writing my Dungeons & Dragons backstory. So, with that being said, and it was a tangent, Darkness, don't even lie. It was after an hour, and we got off on a crazy tangent. However, thank you guys so much for watching. Do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Remember to follow us on all of our social media channels at @NearMintCon. Do not forget to follow us on Patreon if you want to support our channel, because we are amazing and we do the best that we can. Near mint condition. You can find.
We can always do better. We can do better.
I could be better. I could be more professional, but fuck it. Okay. And Redbubble, if you want some near mint condition teas and stuff like that, hit us up there as well. You can buy merch from us also on there. And with
what's
that
the Patreon level for Amanda's Spider-Man fanfic?
Oh, you don't even need a Patreon level if you go to archiveofourown.org. Fabulous Girl 85 is my handle, and if you search, it'll pull up. I have a series that was just completed. It's a 3-part series, 3 stories in one. It's the Hunted series, as I call it. The first story was called The Hunter and the Hunted. The second story is The Hunter's Dream. I don't know. And then the third one was A Hunter's Revenge, or The Hunt. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I have stories on that widely available if you want to search them. Fabulous Girl 85 is my handle on archiveofourown.org. I read fan fiction as well in addition to writing it. I started a new story called Young, Wild, and Free based on Spider-Man MCU After the Far From Home, and we get Young Avengers. We get Harley, Omar's favorite. The kid from Iron Man 3 comes back as Iron Man. We get some Shuri. We get Cassie Lang.
Y'all had to mention the fanfic. She was on a roll.
So anyways,
she was doing so good. Did you ever do Harry Potter fanfic?
Oh yeah, 100%. When I was in college,
Lord Locust is asking.
Yeah, I did a lot of Harry Potter.
Did you ship characters like Malfoy and Harry? Oh yeah, I think everybody did that. Even
Draco
JK, right?
I had one story where Draco and Harry, but Ron was jealous because he was in love with Harry, so there was that story. So there you go.
Yep.
So
if you had to ask about fanfics, there it is. Look, this is like a 10-minute sign off. Longest sign off. It's like Lord of the Rings sign off.
That's 5 endings in one.
Does Omar illustrate the fanfics? I could. All right, Amanda, let's try this one more again.
All right, you already know what I said before, guys, but I'm going to remind you to like and subscribe to our video, subscribe to the channel. You have to subscribe because we're amazing. Do not forget to follow us on our social media accounts. Do not forget to follow us on Patreon and support us if you want to see more of this content. Check us out on Redbubble if you want more of our merchandise. And then finally, if it is classy and cool, guys, say it with me, it must be near mint.
Why do you sound like our governor? Thank you, everybody. Please stay healthy and safe out there, and much love to you all.
We love you all so much.